please stand for pledge of allegiance. So,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
just for awareness, Jesse is called in sick and he'll reach out today. He won't be here. Okay, but we will start from the left. Councilwoman.
Here.
Councilwoman Wright.
Here.
Council President Wright.
Here.
Councilman here. Here we go. No quorum. Team manager, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No.
As there are none, we move straight into public comment on non-agenda items. The City Council values and welcomes public input of city concerns. Please address the City Council as a whole rather than individual members. The council may direct staff. Oh, it's misspelled, sorry. The council may direct staff to follow up on the concern issues or schedule the matter for a future council discussion. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person with an optional 2 minutes for council questions and answers. If you wish to address the council, please come forward to the desk with the microphone and identify yourself with name and address for the record. You want to? Welcome.
Flores, 1173 Greenfield Street. And it's come to my attention about the parking. Still the same thing. Cluttering, people getting upset. You know, people coming to the police station and people parking, and they're blocking the road. The same thing, you know, and it concerns me. Concerns me and everybody else, I guess. It's every topic.
Are these single residence homes or multi-unit homes?
Well, they're just like a resident homes, you know, that people park behind where they're not supposed to park, like blocking their driveway to get out.
Well, hopefully those get reported the non-emergency number as soon as it happens though.
Yeah. Chanel came.
That's why. Okay.
Thank you, Tilda. Welcome.
Thank you. 65 3rd Street. I'm like, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but what is it gonna take to do crosswalks on our street? I almost got hit Monday night walking my dogs.
Which things?
3rd. I know it is county road, but we've got to do something. I mean, the oncoming car stopped. I stepped up, I did not step out. And 3 cars went by like I was not even there. And the second one was so close to me that my dogs could have gotten hit. I'm done. I don't know what it's gonna take, but we've got to address it. The speed, no crosswalks. Somebody is gonna get hurt, especially with summer coming and all the kids that play. And I mean, the house across the street must have 6 little ones. I'm done. I don't know what it's gonna take, but I'm done.
Kyle, I know this has been brought up before. You got you work with the county on that crosswalks?
The crosswalks and the parking situations being addressed down by the store, where she's living is a little bit further to the north. We can explore, you know, putting in a crosswalk. It would probably require flashing lights like we have at Douglas. I can reach out to them, see if they are open to, you know, installing the crosswalk across there. Because the nearest one is clear down to Douglas, so there's a good stretch without any type of pedestrian.
Well, this is anything we can help. Appreciate that.
Would it also help if she called the county and made complaints, or is it just as well?
I'm posting a letter, which I will make sure you guys get a copy of. But this has been going on since last year. And now that Amazon is open, speeds. It's just not, I mean, I've lived here 30 years. I shouldn't have to struggle to walk in my own neighborhoods.
Thank you, Becky. Get that. Anyone else like to come up? Any hands up on the screen? Not seeing any, we'll move on to the consent calendar. The council get a chance to read over the minutes for March 5th, 2026.
I make a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes for March 5th, 2026.
A second.
We had a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the city council minutes for March 5th, 2026, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes. All approved. All right, looks like the next item on the agenda, Rick, is a public hearing, non-scheduled.
There's no.
Doesn't seem to be any old business on the agenda either. Moving on for new business. Declaration of surplus equipment from the police department.
There is a staff report in your council packet in the police department regarding some surplus equipment. If they wish to have declared surplus in order to, mostly for the benefit of trading in equipment to get other equipment. Since it is equipment that's within the city's inventory, a motion declaring that the items listed are surplus would be appropriate if the council concurs. New police chief is here. If you have any questions about it, as the composer of this memo. So we're just asking for declaration, formal declaration from council declaring surplus equipment out of the police department.
This is the excess equipment that's listed in the police packet.
What's on this memo that's in the packet, yeah, and there's actually 4 computers, not 1, or not 3, so I missed one on that. But these are computers that are gonna be replaced and they're just not serviceable.
Any questions, councilors? A lot of high value items.
Yeah, it looks straightforward to me. I was surprised at how old some of our equipment was.
If you only knew.
Does anyone want to make a motion identifying this as excess?
Good. You just declared.
Yeah, I make a motion to declare the surplus equipment from the Jervis Police Department that is outdated and unusable to be sold.
A motion, a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed? All ayes. Thank you.
Thank you, council.
Like to move right along to staff report, city manager.
We should have a 5-pager city manager report. A couple items which are actually one item which I'll request a motion about. First, a reminder, deadline to submit your statement of economic impact to the Oregon Government Ethics Commission is tax day, April 15th. you've not received communication from them, please contact them or me post haste. They do fine, and the fine starts at 10 a day, I believe, goes up to 50. So, and max is at 5,000, I think. Anyway, it's important. It's a process. So anyway, deadline's 15th of April. Just sharing the information that the staff is working with some other cities for a TGM grant. The purpose of the Transportation Growth Management Grant is to get funding for a transportation system plan. Transportation system plan was a high priority by the council during the strategic plan, especially with the amount of impact of traffic that we're seeing from our friendly neighbor to the north, who is over blessing us. So if we have a traffic safety plan, puts us in a position of getting funding for our projects, puts us in a position of being able to get a street system development charge, which we don't have currently. And it also puts us in a position of long-term planning to address our traffic safety and parking needs. So I'm just letting you know, we're working on a grant to get it. It's not going to be in the budget because if we get it, it is funded directly from ODOT to the contractor that the city and ODOT agree to hire a consultant to do the plan. So the money doesn't pass through our coffers. I've done transportation TGM grant before. It had to do with a riverfront design project. They're very slow starting, but they're also very complete. And they'll give you a working document, finance, planning, because it's both land use for the Department of Land Conservation Development and transportation for the Oregon Department. It's a team effort from both those two agencies that administer this TGM grant program. Just a heads up that we're working on. Budget. When you leave this evening, you will receive your copy of the proposed budget. We will be distributing it out to budget committee members tomorrow. They're available for public view tomorrow. A week from tonight, we have the budget presentation and the budget hearing. 7 o'clock, a week from tonight. Now, my budget message is a little bit long. We've had some financial stories to share. I am not going to read the 6-page budget message to you. I am asking you to invest full time. I plan to do an overview, major points, but the budget message, which is at the front of the document, I would ask that you would spend some time with it before Thursday evening. Transition zones. There is a map attached to my report and a request from Marion County Public Works. They are looking at establishing transition zones on the county roads that are entrances to the city of Jervis. These transition zones, it's essentially establishing a 45-mile zone after the 55, before the 25, are all going to be on county roads except for Checkerboard Road. Part of that transition road is going to be in the city of Jervis. So essentially tonight, we're just checking in with the council. Staff is comfortable talking to Public Works about this and making it happen. But if the council wants to get involved in the transition zone plan for Checkerboard, which is actually within the city, they are willing to come and meet with the council. I said, I don't think that's necessary. I think the council will trust Kyle to do the right thing, and we'll make happen what needs to make happen. The rest of the transition zones are all outside of the city limits. So those transition zones don't involve city property, city limits. So essentially, I guess I'm asking for permission for staff to proceed. or we can have Marion County Public Works staff show up to talk to you about Checkerboard Road a month from now.
Is there a way to possibly add more to this? Because I mean, for years of living here, we know everybody, on 99 Douglas, there's been a lot of wrecks there. You know, so if I'm 99 going south, 99 going north.
There's no reason why we can't convey a message of wanting to have extended zones, and I think we can very adequately do that.
99 really gone for that city.
But this doesn't involve 99 because that's a state, not a
Right.
county.
Just asking if we could request that. Give people a little more time to stop and slow down before we hit each other.
I'm comfortable with you continuing without a meeting with city. But yes, I would also like to see ODOT involved in the 99. I would love to see 45 miles an hour before that light.
And you don't need a vote, you just need confirmation that council's good with people going forward.
I'm sorry.
Do you need a vote on this or just confirmation from the
No,
council?
but that's, I feel I have consensus from council.
Yeah. Council agree? Yes. Please do.
The next item is, work on our housing development code. There's a grant out there that we have been, awarded with other cities. It's a bunch of cities going in, that the COG is doing work on. But what they need more or less is a motion from the council, just stating they recognize that this grant opportunity is there, and that we wish to participate. There's draft language on the bottom of the first page of my staff report. But essentially, this is we're out of compliance. The city is out of compliance as it relates to our housing code. State legislature passed a housing bill twice, actually. And part of that code essentially makes it legal to put duplexes on single family resident properties that are of a certain size. If it's a normal sized house project, we can now allow, or we must, let me rephrase that. We must now allow per state code, somebody putting a duplex. We've already had that happen once, and we have another application for a second one as we speak. We really don't have a choice in that, but our city code doesn't recognize the change in the state law. So essentially what this is a grant to modify our city housing code to meet the new state requirements. So staff I am asking for a simple motion as stated on the bottom of the report. You will see the language before we adopt it. We will have a public hearing before we adopt it. This is just starting the process and recognizing the funding and the work product of the Council of Governments doing it on our behalf.
With multiple cities.
Yes.
I make a motion to request regarding work and amending our city code relating to housing to match. Motion to initiate legislative amendment file LA 2026-01 for our Jervis Development Code and General Plan to be in compliance with recent state housing bills.
Well said.
That's right.
We have a motion and a second.
Was there a second? I'm sorry.
Yes, let's go. All right, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote for this one. Councilman Geddes,
Aye.
Councilman Ray.
Aye.
Council President Ray.
Aye.
Councilman Burley.
Aye.
All ayes.
Thank you very much. We also talked about food vendors, food trucks when we were having our strategic plan, as well as other opportunities since I've been here. And quite honestly, I believe both staff and council concurred that that's what the planning commission does. However, we're at a point, in my opinion, we cannot wait for the final. I intend to bring some information forward, some options forward at a future council meeting. Our city planner is currently working on food truck ordinances for another city that she works for. So we're sort of piggybacking on that. We currently have, and this is just my knowledge, 5 separate residential food operation type activities going on. We do have on the books a code that allows temporary vendors. Our code allows temporary vendors up to 45 days in which the city manager is authorized to grant and upon request can authorize an additional 45 days. And that's it. So what we have on the book in the way of our current code is a temporary vendor for up to 90 days. We have nothing really in our code about food trucks. We've never really addressed it. And so we're gonna need to get into this. I think that during this summer period, there's gonna be more and more food vendor interests. The more recently started one at Alder and Third. You know, very kind, very forward looking, wants to do what's right. And right now, we can't exactly say what's right. All I can say is, well, if you do this, you're okay for 90 days, maybe. But there's other places here in town that are doing it, and we're gonna need to draw a line somewhere. And so I'm not in a place now to say where that line's going to be, but I am in a place of suggesting to the council that this is an issue that I would like to bring forth, start preparing and bring you some options at your next council.
Is this 90 days each year annually?
So are we looking at maybe like permanent licensing options? Rezoning areas, maybe for multi-use?
Well, the question is, if I was living next door to somebody who opened up a business, I was a night sleeper. I'd be pretty, well, perturbed is not the word I use, but so where do we draw the line? Right now, we have zoning for a reason. I always tell people we have zoning so nobody can create an iron boundary next door to my house where I like to sleep. Because hopefully nobody can. We're gonna have to find that line and define that line. And I don't know.
So public input would be nice
Oh, yeah.
on the situation as well.
That concludes my staff report. I'm happy to answer questions about anything I've shared or any other inquiries regarding city days of business going on.
Thank you, Rick. Anyone have any questions for Rick? Not seeing any. On to the next item, staff report, police department. Chief?
Before you've got a packet that outlines all of the updates that we've got, that we've done over the past 30 days. Like I conveyed through my last report, what we're trying to do is be hyper transparent and make sure that we're providing more information than maybe what is necessary. But I think that all of this is important information, and that way we're informing you guys exactly what we're doing. We're informing the community. The additional page that was laying loose is this flow chart. The one that's printed in the packet, after we printed it, we found that it's actually really blurry. You can't even read it. Yeah. And so that replaces that one. Real quickly, we're starting a chaplaincy program. That's something that the police department has never had. It'll be all volunteer. There's no expense to this. But we've already got a person, he's a longtime paramedic in the area, and he's also a minister. He's got his master's in theology. And he has stepped forward and said that he's willing to kind of take on the role and kind of help us build the program. And I think that that provides a very vital service to not only the department, but also to the community, for people that are suffering any kind of trauma or been through anything that's been, really traumatic, disturbing. And he and whoever else participates in the program will actually be available for that. I think your name is Becky. One of the things that we're doing is repurposing the administrative executive assistant evidence technician, with multiple titles. We're actually consolidating that, and that's going to be a community service officer. And that is something that is far more valuable. It's going to be multi-purpose. They're still doing evidence. They're still going to be doing administrative stuff, but they're also going to be out in the community, both enforcing parking regulations and writing tickets. And you were the one that sorry about that. So we're going to be dealing with the parking stuff, and that will be that CSO's position, and that will be their job. So we're hearing what the community is saying. I mean, that's really apparent. We're hearing a lot of that. And so that's hopefully that'll help kind of quell some of that. We've got a new police officer starting next Monday. He's a 24-year veteran of Portland Police Bureau, and highly experienced. He was one of the community engagement officers for Portland, and very community related, and likes to build community stuff. And I think he'll be a very strong asset. It'll be our first retired officer, well, other than me, this part of the department. That flow chart I put in front of you is nothing more than just kind of a map. There's never been any kind of a formal hiring process established. Nothing that was documented. So this actually steps through each phase from the time the person applies to the time that they're actually hired. And again, that for people in the audience, there's a packet that's out there. We can get it. We've gotten a bunch of equipment changes and technology upgrades. And the last page goes through and just summarizes the savings. This obviously doesn't replace the need for any money that's in the budget or anything else. But the last page demonstrates these are the changes that we've made in the previous pages, this being the last. And it highlights how much money the police department actually saved through partnering with agencies and partnering with other companies to actually make this happen. So altogether, we saved, and again, this is an estimate, it's not a rock solid figure, but about $84,500 in savings for equipment and changes that we needed to make. One of the things that we did do that was significant is the Axon contract that was signed a year and a half ago was poorly written, poorly negotiated, and by working with them, I've got them to discount it by about $10,000, and we took off one feature, which was a $20,000 savings. So altogether, about $30,000 over the life of a 5-year contract.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's great.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Much appreciated. Any other way the council can help you do your job?
Win lottery.
That's perfect. Council have any questions for the police chief? Not seeing any. We go on to the next staff report, Public Works.
First off, not in the report here, I'd like to extend a big thank you to our new police chief. Hit the ground running, and two departments are working very close side by side. Some of the surplus equipment was actually donated to Public Works, such as some very nice flashlights that we use. Hopefully not very frequently in the dark, but they are needed at times, as well as many other projects. That's awesome here.
I would echo that. I think the start of a very good working relationship.
Certainly. And then one other thing that's not in the packet because it happened Monday. You've probably all seen all the directional drilling happening everywhere driving the town. One of the crews found our discharge line, our pressure line, all of our wastewater pumped out to the Pudding River, was in a location not on any map or with any institutional knowledge. It could have been a very bad situation. Fortunately, there's only about 2,000 gallons spilled. It is treated effluent containing E. coli. That was verified with results yesterday when it's back online. That is still something that I needed to report to DEQ. Along with that could come the possibility of a warning letter and or potential fines, because it is sewage that is spilled to the ground. Extenuating circumstances, they tend to show leniency. But the positive side of that is the crew worked very long hours, put the backhoe to use, and they performed very well. Able to get everything done in a safe manner, particularly right along that time there. And worked side by side with the company doing the drilling to ensure it didn't happen again. So that wrapped up yesterday. That was great. Another thing, update on the water plant. The upper manifolds were determined to be not necessarily bad design, but inferior materials. So we elected to have those replaced with stainless steel units. Adds a bit of cost to the project, but the big picture, not a significant amount, because it will eliminate the possibility of failure in the future. Manifolds are completed. The filter media is ready to ship. Had to go through a sanitizing process. Hopefully have everything back up and running towards the end of the month or first part of May. Nice to be back at full capacity. And touch bases. PGE was out last month and installed a data tracking device because we've been having electrical issues there. They determined that we have electrical issues everywhere. So everyone probably notices the lights go out fairly frequently here in town. But I just wanted to verify there was no failing equipment servicing our water plant. So can't let that go down again. So there's no findings there. We've elected to basically rehabilitate 10 leaking manholes. They're allowing a substantial amount of groundwater to intrusion to our collection system, which greatly adds to the overall volume of sewer that we treat, increased costs and everything for everybody. They're wrapping that up, and several of those were very significant leaks, 7 to 10 gallons a minute every day in just one of these manholes, for example. So that really adds up to a substantial amount, of course, of the wet rainy season until the groundwater subsides. We've been working on our temperature TMDL implementation plan. We've got that underway with our city engineer. That's going to be a fairly significant undertaking as far as the implementation plan and cost to the city, unfortunately. It's unfunded mandate coming down from you. It goes to everybody that services or has any waterways that enter into like the putting the watershed, everybody else throughout the state. So that's something that we will have ready to present to them. And we met with our sister city for Tree City USA in Almsville. They had a kind of a grand reopening of one of their parks. They received a grant, installed a new bathroom, play structure, and that met with their mayor, several members of the community, and did a tree exchange. It was good to get out and meet members of their community. We received a tree from them like we do every year. We're planning on having a celebration for 24th, Black Bubble Park, which is a Friday. It'll be in the afternoon. Nothing real big or fancy like they had this year, but it'll be nice to go ahead and have that formally planted. There'll be some flyers coming out here probably tomorrow or the first part of the week, so everyone's welcome to join. And I've been working with Omar Ortiz from Woodburn Fire, and they are going after a higher IFP rating. What that basically does is they can prove that they can lower their response times, their fire protection for all the communities that they serve. They obviously serve as service, so they know substantial amount of information about our water plant capacity, distribution system, fire hydrants. So we've been working with him quite a bit and got him every information that you needed. So we're hoping that they can go ahead and get that higher rating, that can do positive things, with lower insurance rates in the area. So we're hoping for that. And last but not least, just looking forward to the city cleanup event here on the 25th. A lot of fun. We will be down one employee, unfortunately, has a funeral attending out of the country, but everybody else will be there. Have a little bit of time, so it's good weather. Quick update on that. This is probably going to be the last year though that we'll be able to extend past May. We were informed actually earlier today that due to lack of DOT drivers, and then the laws that they have to follow for the hours driven per week next year, they'll have to limit it to 4 hours of drivers on site. So the 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, discuss that. So that get them to extend the full day.
So the maps we have are antiquated, don't show a lot of stuff on the outside of the city.
Yes, in fact, very, very little. It's just based off institutional knowledge and references as to where their locations are.
So anything we do to prevent this map again?
Well, with the knowledge that we have found this week here, we can prevent that meeting area. But with, the confusion was we have a airlock, which is the high section of the kind of pipe, and what that does is it releases any kind of air so it doesn't hit the flow. And it is directly in line with where the locating marks were put down. Unfortunately, the pipe was found 16 feet to the side of it. So we will be doing some exploring as far as figuring out where that pipe takes a shift, because there's the county ditch right there. There's nowhere for it to shift. So it was a surprise. It could have been a lot worse, because we did have to shut down our discharge for several days. Fortunately, we were in good shape and we were able to do that.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Public Works?
I have a question. How have you been checking the filters and how clean of the water we're getting to our person?
Yeah, the filters, excuse me, they undergo an automatic backwash process. So what it does is it releases anything contaminants filtered out, and it goes out every 21 hours of production. So the 2 filters that we have in service now have been pulled double duty, so they can do backwashing devices frequently. But we test our water, annually. With any other to follow in line with state regulations. There's tests done basically every odd year, 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, and 7 years.
Thank you.
Next item is the check register. Yes, we can't keep it at all. Yep.
Are we finished with our audits?
We are not finished with the 24-25 audit yet. We believe we have everything ready for the auditor, but that happened within the last 48 hours. But we have not, they've been particular enough about asking us for particular things or particular documents. So they're obviously working on it, but the final trial balance for 24-25 with payroll reconciliation got put in the auditor's portal 2 days ago.
Any other council questions on the register?
What are the building permit fees for?
Once some were done in January, there were for like the school district. Yeah.
You're working on, you said you were working on getting the main fees lowered for the one process, correct? For how much it costs to process credit cards.
Oh. So you're asking about the bank charge issue? What do you want to know? How long we've been doing it, whether or not we've corrected or what it is now?
Are we in a better spot now?
A much better spot. A much better spot.
Let's go ahead and move on to council business. Mayor and council reports. And councilors everything to report.
All right, I got two things on my radar. One, I would like to start off by saying thank you to the few people who signed up to volunteer their time to join the events committee. We're greatly appreciative for you. And I know Jervis has a long history of coming together to celebrate the 4th of July. This year's going to be a little bit different. We are not going to have a full festival downtown. We are looking to only have a parade and fireworks at the end of the night. This is due to the part that we really only have one person that decided to sign up for the committee, and the city cannot in good faith put on a huge festival with one person. One volunteer is not enough. So we would really suggest that people, if they would want more events, please sign up. The fireworks show is always a success, and I'm glad that we can still continue that this year. And I look forward to anybody who would like to join the parade. And then on the second note, on Saturday the 4th, early in the morning, before most of you were even out of bed, our city public works department was in Black Walnut Park, again, cleaning graffiti. It's sad, and I would like to see our public works department be working on other items, as well as the money that goes into the public works department to clean the park and clean the graffiti. That money could be spent again towards new park equipment or fixing the splash pad. I would like to remind our citizens that there is a curfew law that we can implement. There's also another law that states that you, as a parent, need to be responsible for your children. And you can be fined if your children are unsupervised, especially past curfew. So I would just like to remind our citizens that you can be part of solving the graffiti problem. Thank you.
The only thing I actually have to bring up, just for awareness, because it is for all the residents and kids, is the circus is coming back to town this year. It is going to be May 23rd, 24th. They're actually going to do 2 shows each day. So that's a big one. Because last time they did it 2 years ago, filled them up. It was a lot of fun. So all the little kids, everybody loves it. So just awareness, advertising's going to get out there. Even on places, social media sites that people have been blocked, hopefully people can maybe that aren't blocked and share the information so that everybody in the city knows about it. Okay, thank you very much.
Question regarding that, like our citywide cleanup and things like that, and what you brought up, Mayor Wagner, about in the social platforms where they are shared, or it's in the citywide on the city website, correct? I mean, not everyone goes to the city website to look at what's going on in the community, be it events or other activities. I shared some things, whenever I can. How can the city share or make the citizens, the residents aware of what's going on in our community? Because there's been a lot of people that just don't know what's going on or we're not. I know for sure, we're just a handful here also. And people probably don't go in and read the minutes or watch the video. What other ways? Maybe through the quarterly newsletter also that you guys send out. That's, for me, that's great. I really like that option that you guys do. That, because I mean, at least that goes out to every resident. But how else can that be done?
I think a lot of it comes down to networking, actually being able to communicate with each other. You know, in the past, there's been a lot of non-communication.
Yeah.
Lots of communication was cut off,
Mhm.
and there's no reason for it. We're all adults. We don't need to act like teenagers. You know, the whole thing is if an event, especially if it's for the kids, this community,
Yeah.
the residents,
Mhm.
any event like that, if it's there, somebody should be able to reach out to an entire group and say, hey, here's this thing, can you guys go ahead and post it so everybody's aware?
Mhm.
You know, I did hear some negative feedback that, oh, nobody knew about the Easter egg hunt. It's like,
Yeah.
it was posted all over the place, but unfortunately it wasn't shared with everyone. And that's the whole thing, it's just being able to share it. So if we could have some group, some person, whoever it is, be the focal point,
Mhm.
that's, you know, we can provide the information, hey, here's the events that are coming up for the city, the residents,
Mhm.
you know, and then they reach out themselves, you know, to all the groups. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Or even have one person that's not blocked all over all the sites, being able to post it everywhere. It doesn't really matter. It's about communication, it's about working together.
I know at one point we talked about getting like a Jervis community app. So that was an option that we talked about, just finding someone to do the technology stuff to get
Yeah.
us that app so that we can post things like that for people in an app.
Or even I mean, I know like the social media. I know a lot of cities have a social media page, but I don't know if that's something you guys are willing to do, or, I mean, who will run it?
I think it would be good if the city had one. I know the
Yeah.
police department has one and they
Yes, they
post
do.
occasionally. But I don't know who would want to take up a city one right now.
Yeah, that's just it. It's finding, again, just like all the events that we can't get people for, planning commission.
Right,
Nobody wants to volunteer for anything nowadays.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
whether it's ICE, whether it's
Yeah.
anything else, nobody's wanting to volunteer.
Yeah, it's like everybody wants things done in the community,
Exactly.
but it's just a handful that really participate, volunteer for that, and it just can be.
You know, it's sad, and the whole thing
It
is,
is.
our
It is
communities
sad.
don't come back together and actually work together on everything, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, I think, for everyone,
Mhm.
at least that work here.
Yeah. I agree.
Thank you.
Good feedback.
Thank you. You're the geek god, right? Right from the website page. Read that. Had to try.
I get rid of viruses.
Okay. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this portion of the agenda. Next, it appears that we are going to go into executive session. The city council is going to meet in executive session for ORS 192.660 2H to consult with legal counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of the public body with regard to current litigation or litigation is likely to be filed. I'd like everyone to please go ahead and stand up and let's move over to the meeting.
Will you guys be coming back?
We're gonna go back and then we're just gonna.